we have eaten ourselves to sickness in this
Oh
country.
yeah.
Not just this country, even where I'm from. I think we in the islands we're surrounded by
Hmm.
some of the best um, sources of food. Getting fish and eating from the land and that kind of thing. But when you look
Yeah.
at what we eat, the size of the plate of food that we eat,
Hmm.
we have ruined our lives.
Let's have a conversation about cognitive decline. Let's have a conversation about physical decline. We're educating masses about the brain and the spine. We're educating people about balance, gait, and decline. Let's have a neuro wellness conversation. Let's have a neuro wellness conversation. Let's have a neuro wellness conversation.
Welcome to Neuro Wellness Conversations, where clinical insight meets lived experience. We're two physical therapists having real conversations about neurologic wellness, nervous system health, and what it takes to support both in everyday life.
And today we'll be discussing cognition, caregiving, Alzheimer's disease, and the role of neuropsychological testing in helping us better understand how the brain is functioning. And one of the most common concerns we tend to hear from our patients and our family members, or the family members of our patients, is that they're noticing changes in the memory, they're noticing changes in their thinking, and they're wondering whether or not they should be worried. So, the truth is that cognitive changes can occur for many reasons. Sometimes they're related to normal aging, stress, sleep deprivation. We know so much about that one.
We do.
Medication effects or other health conditions. And sometimes they signal something that deserves further evaluation. So today's conversation is going to be about understanding cognitive change and understanding it in the aspect of not having fear.
Mhm.
We want to provide that information. So we're going to try to empower individuals, empower their family members, and help them to recognize changes, help them to ask questions, get them to understand that they need to seek support and to have a better understanding of the systems or of care that's available to them. So, whether you're concerned about your own memory or whether you're supporting a loved one or simply interested in protecting your brain health, we hope this conversation today gives you practical information and a peace of mind. So, Dr. Banks, one thing I know you probably hear, because I hear it
Mhm.
frequently, is that people are saying, "Oh, I forgot where I put my keys," or "I forgot where I put my wallet," or better yet, "I forgot where my cell phone is."
Mhm.
So, in your mind, would you say that this is the beginning of dementia?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's the beginning of dementia. And like you just said, I have several people that are worried about this. I had a
Yeah,
couple of phone calls this past week. They were like, I forget what I'm doing mid
yep,
sentence, and
yep,
I forgot my car keys or my glasses. They were on top of my head and I
yeah,
couldn't find them.
right.
But I wouldn't equate that to a full diagnosis of dementia.
Correct.
Forgetfulness can happen for many, many reasons.
Absolutely.
Sleep is a big one.
Absolutely.
I can firmly say that a high percentage of people are not sleeping well.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
not getting the REM sleep that they need. I talk about this all the time, but that's one of the biggest reasons. Sleep, stress is another big one.
Oh, yeah.
People are
Huge.
stressed out, especially with what's happening in the world right now. Healthcare
Absolutely.
cuts are
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Caregiving is tough when
Yes.
you are caregiving for your parents or loved ones,
Yeah,
those things can definitely affect how your mind is working. Medication,
absolutely. Yep,
there's a lot of side effects with medication.
without a doubt.
It's poo-pooed. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, my doctor said to take this medication, and you take it, and then you start forgetting things.
yeah,
Well, that
right.
medication might be helping you with, being able to have your balance, but now your memory's off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Having anxiety,
Oh,
depression,
big time.
big time.
Yeah,
It changes the chemistry of the brain,
yeah.
chronic illness,
Yep.
and just being overwhelmed. Those are the biggest things that could lead you to think that you may have dementia, but we have to take all those things into consideration first.
Absolutely. So essentially, I guess when we hear those things that you just kind of listed, we
Hmm.
understand now that not every memory concern means someone has dementia.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have to get diagnosed with dementia. But
Yeah.
it's crazy because I literally had a couple people this week. I think they weren't offended by me, but I think someone had noted to them that they were repeating themselves
Yes.
quite a bit,
Yeah.
and that offended them. And they're
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't do it." But people notice things that you're
Right.
doing that you don't
Especially if
notice.
if it's a family member that says it to them, then they really get concerned that that's potentially happening to them.
Right. Exactly. So
So
no,
what are
we're
some
not
of
gonna
the
say.
examples of changes that from your perspective warrant people getting a further evaluation or an examination?
I would say if you're repeatedly asking the same questions
Yeah.
in a short period of time, if you're having difficulty with managing your money,
Yeah, that's
you don't
big.
remember where money is going, or if you paid a bill,
Mm-hmm.
if you're getting lost in familiar places, like I've known seniors to get in a car and get lost and
Yes.
not
Yeah.
understand where they are,
Yeah.
um, trouble following conversations, you get lost mid sentence, or your train of thought is lost.
That's huge.
Yeah, difficulty completing familiar tasks. Maybe you go
Yeah,
to the certain park that you go to all the time, and you just can't figure out how to make it there or actually do that task.
that's true.
Um, Increasing independence or
Yeah.
dependence, I would say, on others for everyday tasks. So maybe
Yes.
forgetting to brush your teeth or take a
Yeah.
shower.
Right.
Those
Or
are big signs.
forgetting to eat.
That too, or leaving
Yeah.
the stove on when you're
Yep.
cooking.
That's
Yeah,
potentially burning the house down.
yeah.
I've seen in some situations with some of my patients where they were spending money um,
Mm-hmm.
in unusual places or
Yes.
buying things that they wouldn't typically purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those are quite significant. That's a good list, I think.
Yeah. And I want to add with what you just said, the medications most times is what's correlated with that when they're spending weird, especially with the Parkinson's. And I don't know if
Yes.
you've noticed that,
Yep.
but I've noticed that when they're on certain medications,
Hmm.
people do this, they're gambling more, they're just
Oh
spending money
yeah.
erratically, and it's
Yes.
because of the medication.
Correct.
Gotta
Yep.
pay attention to that.
Yeah. That's one I've seen and I've had some discussions with a couple of caregivers regarding
Mm-hmm.
some of my Parkinson's patients that they started doing things like that. So yeah, that's big. That's a good distinction. So
Absolutely.
one thing we often talk about is that cognition doesn't exist in isolation too. So that's also an important
Mm-hmm.
point.
Absolutely. It's all those other factors that we listed earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some type of reason behind it that triggered it.
Yes. Yeah, because you know, when you're young and you're having a lot of stressful days and a lot of chronic stress,
Mhm.
it's hard to have a good memory.
It is. It is.
So when you think about that, you don't want to start thinking, okay, well, do I have young onset dementia starting to happen. You know,
Hmm. That's the first question that
that's just
comes up.
going
Do I have dementia?
that's just gonna send your stress level to
Way
times 10
up.
for sure.
Oh,
Cortisol off the charts.
yeah. It's
So
no
we have
joke.
to be mindful of, additional things that could be creating the memory issues and the memory lapses, and not
Hmm.
automatically, jump to the D word, so to speak. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes people, think that when they have a memory problem, that is dementia, but they could just be tired, they could
Exhausted.
just be exhausted. Exactly.
Hmm.
And when you, like you said earlier, when you have poor sleep, which we talked about, in some other episodes, not having sufficient rest and recovery and poor sleep is so huge, and is a big precursor to so many other issues.
Absolutely. Just getting people to understand it is it's a task.
It is a task.
Because people are just so, I'll be honest, people are just set in their way. They're like, well, I've always slept 4 hours my entire
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Well, that's why your nervous system is revved up right now, and you can't
Right.
calm down or you
Yeah.
can't power down because yeah, your brain is used to that routine.
Right.
But we gotta really take care of ourselves and really be aware of the awareness of what
Yeah.
we're doing.
And
And
be willing to seek help.
that too.
One of my frustrations when it comes to people that have issues with some of these chronic issues, regarding stress or regarding poor sleep, there are professionals out there that can help you. There are professionals out there for, you when you suffer with anxiety, or you when you suffer with depression. There are mental health specialists, but there are also people that have the ability to help you with your sleep and improving your sleep. And some people have, they just don't, they they try to just trudge through it instead of trying to get somebody to assist them to be better.
Hmm.
So I think for me, some of my frustrations with people sometimes is, why are you fighting through something when you can just simply get some assistance, be it even if it's just momentarily,
Hmm.
to help you get better and be better. Um, so
Yeah, some
think
people are just set in their way.
set in their way that,
But
because I mean, I think because we were used to, oh well, when I was younger, I lived on 4 hours sleep, or I lived on 5 hours sleep. I can go to the club and get up and, you know
mm,
and go to work and get the day done, well,
uh-uh, no
what,
more.
yeah, as this body ages, things change, and sometimes
Absolutely.
you gotta get professional help. So, but the good thing is, the encouraging news is that, some of these factors are modifiable.
Absolutely. I would say what is modifiable, I would say, is physical activity.
Oh yeah,
We need to exercise.
big time.
There's a lot of people that do not like to exercise.
Yes,
You can just keep it simple with a walk.
there you go.
15-minute walk in the morning, a 15-minute walk at night, you got 30 minutes in. And
Yeah,
that's creating blood flow to your brain.
absolutely.
Decompresses your body when you walk. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be a fast walk. It can just be a nice, calm walk.
Yep.
You can play some music, whatever. But physical activity is a must.
That's a huge one, and that's number one, I think, because if you look at the research that's out, that talks about the value and the benefits of physical activity. Physical activity is free. A walk is free. You can,
Absolutely.
now if you paying to go to the gym, then that's a different story. But you can get outside and you can walk, and you can, walk fast. You can walk slow. Just get out there and walk.
Do it.
There's so many physical benefits,
Hmm.
mental benefits, cardiovascular, but I mean, It
Yes.
is not to say that it is the answer, but it is a significant answer for
Mm-hmm.
so much of what we deal with, whether that's a cardiovascular issue, whether that's a neurological issue, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a blood sugar issue or high blood pressure or hypertensive issue, whether it's a stress issue,
That's
or a
correct.
sleep issue, because physical activity is going to even help you, believe it or not, to improve your sleep and your sleep quality. You know,
Absolutely.
we are a nation where we get to a certain point in life, and I get it. Life, like some people say, life be lifing.
Oh,
That
it
ain't
do.
that's not the best English, but we get it.
We get it. Totally.
Life can sometimes throw some curveballs at you, but
Absolutely.
you have to invest in yourself.
You really
And
do.
one of the ways that you invest is physical activity. That's part of why I emphasize it so much. Part of why I do it myself. Because, first of all, I know the benefits. So for me, I want to live my best life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the value. So I do it. Secondly, I don't want to be a hypocrite and tell my clients to do it and then I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
I can give you feedback better
Mm-hmm.
because I've done it
That's
versus telling you to do something that I have not tried.
that is fact.
So
That
that's definitely number one. I'm glad you threw that one out there first.
absolutely. We touched a little bit about sleep quality.
Yeah,
So I think the biggest takeaway point for improving sleep quality is just setting boundaries
yeah,
when and being consistent in when you go to bed
yes,
and having a time where you power down every night at the same time
yeah,
so that your brain will get used to knowing that okay, this is time for bed.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And just
Yep.
creating that awareness. It's just really you have to really invest in yourself
Mm-hmm.
and really have to pay attention to your own patterns in
Yeah.
order to really have a peaceful life,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And
So
like you said in a previous podcast, develop a routine.
a routine.
you know and that will help your sleeps so much. It's when we have so much chaos around our sleep
Mhm.
and our sleep time or our wake time, or that's where I think the quality of it is lost.
I agree. The
Yeah,
routine is key.
the routine is key.
And it starts during the day. I wrote
Yes.
about this in my book, Rest is Power.
Yeah,
You have to start your routine during the day, not at
absolutely.
night when you're about to go to bed.
Yeah.
You're taking a break at lunch. You're taking a 5-minute recess from meeting.
Yes. Right.
Or walk outside the building if it's nice out.
Yep.
Your brain needs that time to recuperate itself so that you can move on to the next task with
Yeah.
full power.
Yeah. And if
It's
you
like
can't walk outside, find that long hallway or borrow that treadmill, or just
walking
walk
pad,
walk.
something.
Yeah. Find a path that you can create in your workspace, or something. That's huge. I actually saw some doctors recently that talked about that in regard to helping insulin levels. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying that the high insulin levels are so significant in obesity
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We think about the insulin levels when we only think about diabetes, but we don't think about it from a cardiovascular perspective. And I actually heard a cardiac surgeon, cardiothoracic surgeon, talk about it too. And they suggest that after you eat, take a 10-minute walk.
I do
Because
it
they
every
were
night.
Yep. They
Mhm.
said after every meal, if we do a 10-minute walk, that helps to bring down that insulin level. And
Correct.
so your body improves in digestion, and then
Yes.
there's better um there's a reduction of the the way our body absorbs the nutrients, and so it keeps down so many other significant issues. I'm not going to get into all of that tonight, but then it's key. So that 10-minute walk, like you said, is a big factor that we should all be taking into consideration.
Absolutely. It works wonders. And when you eat late, I
Yeah.
know we talked about this prior too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your blood sugar goes up, and then you're digesting. So that means you're not going to sleep well because
Nope.
all your energy is going to your stomach. And
Exactly.
not-
Yeah. Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
walk is important after eating to
It
help
is.
you digest and help your brain recalibrate, get that blood
Yep.
sugar down so you can sleep.
Yeah. Exactly.
All
And
works
we should
together.
be. And we should try to eliminate late eating anyway,
We
because
should.
there's so many other issues. I know I have family members that they don't eat past 6:30, 7 o'clock. As a matter of fact, my mother probably shuts it down at about 6, and
Yeah.
she's 86 years old, and she's
Nice.
like, "No, it's too late for me to eat." First of all, she's trying to get to bed by 9:30,
Love that.
um, because she's an early riser,
Mm-hmm.
and my sister practices similarly,
Mm-hmm.
and it also helps them to keep. You hear a lot of people complain about heartburn,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
when they eat late. Then there's also the issue when with our menopausal women,
Mm-hmm.
it disturbs late night resting as well,
Yes.
because there's that, like you say, that blood flow going to the digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's also an effect on your melatonin levels and that kind of
Correct.
thing when you eat too late. So there's so much good in making, one, eating earlier so that you're not taking a late meal. Two, taking that short walk like you talked about.
Yes.
So those are some key things that we all need to be practicing.
Absolutely. And going out, socially engaging, being around other people
Absolutely.
is a
Absolutely.
whole other realm that can
Yeah,
help you as well.
absolutely. That's huge.
It is huge. I mean, COVID kind of had us separated for a while, but now that we're out of
Yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
you know, get out there,
Get
talk to
out
your
there. I encourage my patients all the time because, for one, a neurological effect is significant.
mm-hmm.
Um, First of all, you've had a major change in your life, in a
Right.
lot of instances, and with May being Stroke Month, I've had this conversation with a lot of my patients during this month. Um, but just in general, when I see my stroke patients, because they are the ones that tend to be more isolatory.
Yes.
Um, I find my
Yes.
Parkinson's patients are looking for the support group, and they're wanting to get out and get into that social group, and they want to
Mm-hmm.
do the boxing group activity and the other, you know, vocal activities, Parkinson's choir, and that kind of thing. My stroke patients, on the other hand, tend to be more isolated, and
Yep.
so I always encourage them to look for that support group. Get out there, socially engage, interact, meet somebody else, let them encourage you, because you're
Mm,
going to see someone doing things that you feel like you couldn't do until you saw them doing it.
that's
you know,
facts.
yeah. And that's so encouraging to them. And then they need to be moving anyway, because a lot of people feel like once they've had the stroke that they're not supposed to be moving. No, you need to be moving. The research says you
Mm-hmm.
need to have exercise and physical activity in your life.
That's right. There's no way around that.
Mm-mm, none. Get out there and enjoy some movement and enjoy life. I love to hear when my patients tell me that they've done some fun things, and I always ask them, what did you do fun this week or this
Yeah.
weekend? When I see them at the early part of the week, and I'm like, no, I didn't do anything fun. Well, then I get on them. I'm like, well, okay,
Mhm.
next weekend, let's get on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's find
That-
something fun to do.
yeah, I think that's game. And I
Yeah.
mean, I tend to notice with my older clients
Uh-huh.
that they just want to have somebody to talk to.
Yep.
Because sometimes they live alone or their spouse has passed and
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of family in the area or they're just
Right.
not close to their family and they just want somebody to chat with.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's super important to get out. You know, the senior centers usually have activities for people
Yes.
to exercise or do other, crafts and arts, that type of thing.
Oh yeah.
I encourage it, especially for with someone who may be stressed, overly stressed, or may have been diagnosed with dementia. Your brain needs that.
Absolutely.
You need something
Absolutely.
different.
I like it when they get engaged in exercise because
Yeah.
there's group exercise programs and the research points to it. They need to be doing aerobic type exercise and activities as well. So I know sometimes caregivers get a little concerned about them
Mm-hmm.
participating in things, but that's that's going to help them in the long run. Plus, it gives a caregiver an opportunity, especially if it's in a group setting, to kind of
Right.
have a moment where they can just take a breath and
Mm-hmm.
somebody else is kind of helping with that person. So yeah, I think the group setting is so good and it allows for social interaction and conversation. Um, so it's a must and it's something we encourage all the time. So, but
Mm-hmm.
about let's talk about the evaluation because many of the families don't even know where to start. So, what's your perspective on that one?
So typically there's a conversation with a primary care doctor at first or a neurologist.
Yeah,
And depending on that conversation, they most likely will say that you need additional testing
yeah, yeah,
and be
yeah.
recommended. And they should be saying that, not just
They
poo
should
poo and
be.
off, just letting you go. Just saying.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, and I know some of the time what I will recommend to caregivers is that they see someone that can do maybe like a neuropsych exam.
Yes.
Um, and I know a lot of them when they hear that term, they're not
Hmm.
exactly sure what that means.
Hmm. So there's a lot of scans out there.
Yeah.
People imagine a brain scan or some type of imaging study, but neuropsychological testing is a little different.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's more of a comprehensive evaluation of
Yes.
how the brain is functioning in an everyday life,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
kind of cool, I would have to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I like the comprehensiveness of it actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It utilizes a series of standardized tests and
Mhm.
activities to evaluate different cognitive abilities. So, your memory, your attention, your concentration, your language, problem solving,
Mm.
processing speed,
Wow. Wow.
executive functioning,
Yeah.
learning, and recall, which is your brain.
Yeah.
This is what your brain does all day.
Exactly. Yeah, that's quite a bit of things when you think about it. When you hear it, and you don't really think about it until you hear that list. But that's pretty significant and pretty
Mm,
comprehensive. And I think that's the thing that we don't think about in the value of having not only that test but that professional see that
mm,
family member. That
yes,
that can really be a major help for caregivers.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that it's comprehensive
Oh yeah,
because it's going to tell us a story. You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's not a 5 minute test.
Nope.
It takes several hours and it's actually designed to examine multiple areas of cognition in depth. And that's what we need to see.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
So patients might be asked to remember words or stories, solve puzzles,
Hmm.
answer questions, complete paper and pencil tasks,
Mm-hmm.
draw shapes,
Yeah.
organize information, and I think the biggest one is perform attention and reasoning exercises.
Right. Yeah.
So it's pretty comprehensive.
Oh yeah.
And what
Yeah.
the evaluation so valuable is that it helps identify patterns.
Yes.
We were just talking about that.
Yep. We
Right?
sure were.
So, for
And
example, oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say some of this may sound a little familiar because we've heard the president talk about his test
Oh,
that he's
yeah.
taken several times,
Mm-hmm.
even though we haven't heard specifics on what was tested. Of course, well, actually, no, that's not true because he did mention a couple of things where he had to recall,
Recall.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some things. So yeah,
Yeah. So, an example of like identifying patterns is if like someone is primarily struggling with attention,
mm,
is their memory the biggest concern?
right,
Is it anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, medication effects, or any other medical condition that could be contributing to the symptoms? So they really do a deep dive to figure out what is really going on so that we're not guessing,
yeah,
which I
absolutely,
love that. I think everybody
absolutely.
should be getting these tests.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like a test we all need to be doing at some point in time.
Absolutely. Give me the data so I can figure out what I need to do ahead of time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because if I need to be doing some brain exercises to help with my attention, I'm gonna do that
exactly.
before I become 80 years old. Why not
Yeah,
do it now?
exactly. Yep. And what you're saying points to is that not every cognitive thing points to Alzheimer's, because I know that's what a lot of people always try to
Mhm.
umbrella everything
Oh
under.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, cognitive changes can result from many different factors.
yeah, exactly.
And that purpose of that neuropsych test is to really determine whether someone has dementia. It's to
Hmm.
understand how the brain is functioning, identify strengths, challenges, and potential next steps that need to be had. And then those results can help guide with the treatment recommendations, supportive
Yes.
services that your loved one might need, safety planning. They might need some extra help at home, educational strategies. You might
Mhm.
need to make things that are more complex more simple. And then talking to caregivers, they need support as well.
Absolutely.
And the other big one is the future medical decision making. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
might, if you're really having dementia, we might need to start talking about who's going to be making those decisions for you
Oh
as
yeah.
things progress, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. That's key.
You know,
That's
that's
key.
really key.
I know when I've had some family members ask me for recommendations. Um, I know for them it's one of the things that's a barrier was knowing where to go to seek help or
Mhm.
what type of help to seek. So, from your perspective, what are some of the barriers that some of the families that you've had to deal with have encountered when they were seeking testing?
I will have to say, with healthcare right now, access is definitely a barrier.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, and as we know, it can vary, significantly.
Oh
And
yeah.
then depending on insurance coverage,
Oh, big time.
health insurance, that can be a barrier, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, a lot of rural people
Rule.
living
Yes.
don't really have the services
Yeah.
as
Guilty
people
in
that are.
our area for sure. Even
Yeah,
South Metro Atlanta area, there are areas, surrounding areas to where I am that are technically considered rural, and
mhm,
they're anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half out from where I am,
I
and
believe it.
there's no psych testing out there.
Oh, awful.
There are no neuropsychologists out that way. So yeah, geographic location, absolutely a barrier.
Oh, the other big one is there's a shortage in healthcare with
Yeah,
doctors providers.
Yep.
So availability is down, wait times. You
Yeah.
might get an appointment 6 months from now when you
Oh
need it
yeah.
now, you
Yep.
know, which is it's just awful.
It is. And we
So,
talked about some of this last week when we talked about healthcare providers and having the availability of healthcare providers in areas and the lapse in healthcare because of these same barriers,
mm-hmm,
all around, whether it's trying to get to, we talked about it in regard to getting to OBGYN. But in this
mm-hmm.
case, we're talking about it similarly with finding a neuropsychologist,
It's
and
awful.
the other part is, you know, um, you might have somebody, but because they're such a limited resource in a big area,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the availability
Nope.
on their schedule. There's
Nope.
only so many people you can see.
That's it. And an
Because
8 hour
let's,
day or
yeah,
12-hour day for some of us.
exactly. And when you think about it, they're seeing these people one on one,
Correct.
and
You have
and
to. There's no group therapy for this.
no
No,
group therapy, so that makes it even harder.
super hard. But I think we have to encourage families to advocate for themselves,
Absolutely.
stay in communication with doctors, communicate those early signs that you're seeing
Yeah.
until they're able to get the services. Unfortunately, that's just
Right.
where it's at right now.
Yeah. 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 That's tough. So let's shift a little bit. Let's shift to caregivers with regard to cognitive changes that affect more than just the individual.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
So, unfortunately, or fortunately for some people, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, caregivers they hold many hats.
Oh
So
man.
they are the coordinators, they're the advocates, they're the ones providing transportation back and
Yep.
forth to appointments,
Mm-hmm.
are managing medication,
Yep.
and providing emotional support on top of all of that.
Right.
So our caregivers are overwhelmed.
Oh, big time.
They're so overwhelmed.
I see it all the time. I see
Oh,
it as I'm thinking specifically right now, one of my patients whose spouse had to put him into memory care recently.
it's tough.
And yeah, because she had a caregiver helping her on certain days, and her husband was doing well with that caregiver. Now, mind you, she went through several caregivers because he was adamant that he didn't really care for the others. So
Hmm.
that was a battle,
Hmm.
kind of finding that person that he was willing to allow to assist him. Because let's think about a pretty independent man prior to his diagnosis and the disease process, who was a former business owner. So we're talking about somebody who was, pretty astute, pretty independent, and then going from that level of independence to having to depend now on
Right.
people. Then you factor in some of the effects of the dementia, the cognitive changes, like we talked about earlier, not having that clear conversation anymore,
Right.
um, agitation, you
Oh, that's a
know,
big one. Hmm.
yeah, that was huge with them. And then once she puts him in this memory care facility, then that's another battle because now she's having to make sure she takes care of herself, still take
Right.
care of the home that they reside in,
Hmm.
find time to come to check on him, make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do there. And then I remember hearing recently that he had a incident with a couple of the caregivers in the facility,
Hmm.
so that she had to take him out of that facility, look for another facility, get him in. So care. Had a conversation with somebody out earlier. I was like, caregiving is a chore. It's a
Yes,
battle.
it is.
It's a battle, and we really have to have grace with caregivers.
Hmm.
So it can be very. overwhelming for a caregiver.
Yes, very, very overwhelming. And we have to remind them that because they're focusing so much on their loved one, that they
Yeah.
neglect themselves. So we have to
Yep.
remind them that, listen, you have to take care of you too,
Absolutely.
because if you get sick, then what?
There you go.
Then what?
Then what? Then both of y'all in trouble.
Exactly.
And that's
So
what I actually had to tell her when she used to bring him to the clinic for exercise. I had to tell her, I was like, look, you need to take some time for yourself. So she took that advice and then
mhm,
found somebody eventually, which allowed her to get back to exercising. She started going back to the YMCA, and she was
mhm,
able to start exercising and then found some socialization again, which she needed, you know,
nice.
because we're talking about somebody who's fully functioning and able to drive and still do things and
Mhm.
taking care of everything and the kitchen sink, who essentially dedicated her life completely to her spouse. And so she
Yeah,
started to neglect herself. So I told her, I was like, that's not going to work. You need an out for yourself as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I guess one of the things we can say is we have to advise them not only on their spouse, but on themselves.
Absolutely.
So, what advice additionally would you give caregivers, or what advice have you found yourself giving caregivers?
I always tell caregivers to not wait too long.
Yeah,
Wait too long to ask for help, because
absolutely.
a lot of women like myself, sometimes we have pride and we don't want to ask for help because
Yeah,
we just figure it out.
yeah,
But no, don't wait to ask for help, because you're just digging yourself deeper
yeah.
into being more stressed,
Right.
anxious, and then that leads to illness. So we don't want that.
Yep. That's right.
Building the second thing I would say is building a support system early.
Huge.
So getting people involved, whether it's a healthcare team,
Mm-hmm.
close family members that can help you,
Yep.
to allow everybody to figure out what needs to be done, so that the
Yeah.
load is kind of evenly disputed. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the last one would be to protect your own physical and emotional health.
Major.
So going out for that walk,
That's major.
going out with a girlfriend,
Going to the
a guy
gym.
friend, whatever.
Yeah. Go take that drive for a little bit.
Absolutely. I love
Yeah.
car driving.
Yeah.
Just
That's
not
where
having anywhere to go and just driving.
this drive. That's
No
where I
radio,
think
just
best. Yeah.
quiet.
Oh my goodness. I think best in my car.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
go take that ride around somewhere. Go to the store and buy yourself a new shirt or a book or a magazine
Yeah. Go
or
to the beach.
you know,
Yes.
go get you a smoothie or something. Do something for yourself. Yeah, because
Absolutely.
you need that support too. You need that mental break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know when people hear Alzheimer's, they often fear that word.
Mhm.
Conversationally, immediately they're like, "Oh," we get nervous.
Yeah. I mean, people, it's almost like a death sentence
Yeah.
when somebody says, "Oh, I have Alzheimer's," or someone was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And yes, it is a serious condition,
Hmm.
but I don't think fear should prevent people from seeking information, asking
Correct.
those questions, and getting the support that they need. Like, knowledge is
Exactly.
so powerful,
Yep. That's it.
you
And that
know?
you know quicker we understand things, quicker we understand what's happening, the more options you tend to have, the more sources that are available to you. So yeah, I agree. Don't fear it. Get
Don't
not
fear
get
it.
get knowledge about it. Learn. Go to that healthcare provider. Seek that neuropsychologist, and
Yes,
equip yourself. That's the key.
absolutely. There's no other way around it.
Nope.
I think some people, they hear Alzheimer's and they isolate,
Yeah.
or they try to confabulate, they're playing it off. It's like,
Right.
you actually have an underlying issue. Let's go get
Right.
this out.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is okay. I would rather you have early recognition,
Yeah.
to allow individuals and families to be able to plan, access the resources that they need,
Mm-hmm.
the lifestyle changes. It might be
Yeah.
some nutrition that you might need to change.
There you go.
Nutrition is huge.
That's
We've talked about it before.
that's big time.
you
And I
know,
think that's a topic we need to elaborate on a little bit later in one of our later episodes, because we kind of touch on it, but it would be good to give some like significant pointers, especially from the neuro wellness side of things. That's I
absolutely.
love to talk about nutrition for people, and that's one of the reasons why I'm a affiliate with uh, the company Thorn with their supplements, because putting good things in our bodies is so
Mhm.
important to me. So I educate people all the time about that. So yeah, that's it. That's a very good pointer.
Absolutely. And that's interesting. Nutrition comes up because that's what the client that I was talking to on the phone, he was like, "So what brain food should I be eating?" But it's a legit question.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a legit question
it is.
because we need to fuel our brain in a healthy way for it to function in a healthy
Absolutely,
way.
absolutely.
Food is medicine. I really
It
believe
is.
that. Food is
And I
medicine.
believe I believe we have eaten ourselves to sickness in this
Oh
country.
yeah.
Not just this country, even where I'm from. I think we in the islands we're surrounded by
Hmm.
some of the best s- um sources of food, getting fish and eating from the land and that kind of thing. But when you look
Yeah.
at what we eat, the size of the plate of food that we eat,
Hmm.
we have ruined our lives. God did not intend for us to use food in the way that we use it.
I agree.
And I know in some instances it's an addiction, and some people can't help it, just like sugar is for a lot of us.
Hmm.
But I think it's something that we can overcome with,
Absolutely.
again, in some instances, with help. Sometimes you can't do it on your own. Sometimes you need somebody that can help put that meal plan together for you and help you lay out those supplements and help you figure out the best things to put in you so that the best things come out. So yeah,
Hmm.
nutrition is major.
It's major. Yeah, we definitely got to talk about this more because I just got
Yeah,
off a 2-day cleanse. So I'd love to share more about that and
absolutely,
working
absolutely.
on my own neural wellness over here.
Me too. Me too. I got some things that I'd like to share too that I've been doing, and the changes that I've known and the improvements. So
Yes.
yeah, we'll definitely elaborate on that as a topic in one of our upcoming episodes. But before
Awesome.
we close, let's leave our listeners with a few key takeaways. So give us some of those takeaways, Doc.
I'm going to say for takeaways that sleep, stress, and overall health significantly affect your cognition.
Absolutely.
One,
That's it.
occasional forgetfulness is not automatically dementia.
That's right.
Okay, so don't equate that to dementia.
Correct.
Patterns matter more than isolated incidents. So if you
Yes.
find yourself doing something repeatedly, then that's an early sign to get checked out.
Yeah, I agree.
Go get your neuropsych testing because it's going to provide you some very valuable information about how your brain is functioning.
Mm-hmm.
Access, as we know, can be a little wary,
Yeah,
but we need to advocate for ourselves. That's very important.
that's huge.
Our caregivers need support. There's no way
Absolutely.
around it. There's no way around it. And I think
No
the
way around it.
no way around it. The biggest thing also is early conversations are better than waiting until a crisis occurs. We
Amen to
are
that.
very reactive society, so we
Yeah.
wait till something happens and then we try to get better.
Yeah.
Let's nip it in the bud now
Right.
and figure out what we need to do now to prevent it from happening.
That's right. That's right. And I concur with all of those. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us for another episode of Neuro Wellness Conversations.
Yes. And if today's conversation was helpful, please share it with a friend, family member, caregiver, or a healthcare professional. And remember, understanding the brain begins with awareness, not fear.
Amen. We'll see you next time
Until next
on
time.
Neuro Wellness Conversations. Thank you for listening to Neuro Wellness Conversations, where clinical insight meets lived experience. If today's conversation resonated with you, share this episode with someone who could benefit. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future conversations on neurologic wellness and nervous system health. Until next time, keep supporting the nervous system that supports you.
Let's have a conversation about cognitive